Okay, hey, we're back after a little 2 week hiatus for Labor Day weekend, which I
Hello!
can't believe that was 2 weeks ago. It's time is going slow and fast at the same time.
Labor Day was not 2 weeks ago.
What was 2 weeks ago? Was
it?
anything 2
I
weeks?
couldn't. I was away. I was out of town.
And
Oh, I thought that
then
was a holiday.
you
Yes,
sure?
and then last
You
week
were out of town.
I was out of town. I was.
It was
in-
also Canadian Thanksgiving last week.
Was it really? Well, there
Yeah.
you go. You learned something new.
Canadian, but I-
I was in New York City, as evidenced by this little
Ooh.
Empire State thing. A little souvenir I brought back.
We love her.
But hey, we're back. We do. She was very pretty. We're back doing some D&D, and I even brought back a little mini Asmodeus pop Funko dude.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
It's so cute!
I love that so much.
Almost guaranteed not to make any appearances in
I was
this
gonna say, I
game.
will never be scared ever again when
Yes.
he shows up. in
So
my
completely removed from the
campaigns. He shows
equation
up and I'm just gonna
right then
picture
and there.
the Funko Pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's out of the picture now. So we're fully back. Actually, let me actually prop you down a little bit because it looks like your feed is a
Oh,
little.
I'm not even on the screen.
Not quite.
They just want to see your super cool T-shirt, obviously.
Yeah, just the T-shirt. That's
Yeah,
what we're here
that's
for.
it.
Nope. There. Why are there two of you? What is happening?
Make there 5.
Yeah, just replace all.
I'll play D&D with myself.
I
Gonna
bet you
be
could do
a
it. You could do a good impression.
One person.
I could do it. I would be talking to myself the whole time.
I had a DM who constantly would get into situations where he has to roleplay NPCs for himself.
Like,
So he's just talking. He's just talking to himself as everyone's sitting there. It was
Sometimes
great.
that's the best though, when you can just laugh at the whole
Laugh at
situation.
the DM. Yeah, for sure.
Well, he didn't do any accents because he couldn't do accents. So he just he barely would raise or lower his voice. So you just
You're
have
like,
to kind of
wait.
guess which person is which. And
Oh my
sometimes
God.
he only could do
Okay.
like one accent, and it was a weird Irish one.
Aw.
Not even a good one.
All right, we're all aligned. We're ready to go.
We're ready.
We're back. We're jumping into it. So to recap, where we left off, the party had just come back from going on a little hunt to kind of show off that, like, hey, we can handle being out in the desert at night when it's like not hot, and look at go scout some areas. Saw some Thrycreen fighting skeletons. Opted to kind of just forget that noise. Wandered into a hyena den, took care of that. Our dear Electra found a little circlet, a diadem, which gifted the party individually with some foreboding visions, as it were. They came back to the siege where the suits chosen are residing. They came back into a bit of an argument between Nahira and Atemu over what to do with like this ogre encounter that apparently occurred. After that, they went to bed. Alexandria woke up in the morning along with everyone else. She told some people that she had spoken to their god. They were surprised at this, as their god is not someone who speaks to people to the extent of their knowledge. It's not something like they're actively doing, is chatting up suit. Alexandria went to a ritual room where there was a tomb raider who was slated for not necessarily ritual sacrifice, but a harvest of sorts. The crime that the suits chosen had convicted this individual of was defacing and looting the tombs of other suits chosen, one of their burial grounds. So they decided that the proper course of action is to kill this person and take their blood and turn it into water, as the sensible thing to do in a desert. Alexandria, though, was given the advice from an ominous voice in a vision that slating her thirst would grant her some measure of strength, and that if she didn't, lean into this other half of herself, she'd be too weak when the time came that she needed to be strong. So she steps into the ritual room, followed by Fury and Electra, who very quickly pieced out, saying, "Not my business, we'll chill outside. Whatever happens in here, I don't want to know about it." And Alexandria...
Pretty accurate.
Yeah. Alexandria, faced with the moral dilemma of this person is going to die whether I kill them or not, decided I will kill them and drink their blood, which she did. And that is where we are picking right back up. Alexandria, you are standing over the still warm corpse of this raggedy-looking Tomb Raider as his blood pools out and is collected in the ritual altar. You wipe the blood from your face, and again, this is the first time you've actually drank humanoid blood since the very first night of you being a Dhampir, and it feels really good. The lights of the candles take on like a little bit of an iridescent glow. You feel like a warmth that you hadn't necessarily it's hot in the desert, but like an internal warmth and comfort. It's like you drank literal life and you just feel good. Your skin is like a little tingly very briefly. You picture if you woke up one day and it's like your perfect day, there's light coming in through the window. You don't even need coffee in the morning to energize. You just really breathe in and you're like, I am alive today. That is what Alexandria feels like right now.
Wow, girl's on some good.
She's on some good.
Yeah, that's a drug.
Soup. Drunk on life.
Fully
good
drunk
soup,
on
good
life.
soup.
Good soup.
The bestest of the soup.
So that is where we pick back up. Electra and Puri, you're in the hall, but you heard a brief discussion. I don't know if you heard the specifics of what was occurring. You kind of got a gist of what was probably going to happen in there. But it's you just hear nothing coming through. It's totally silent now. So we resume with Electra and Puri in the hallway and Alexandria standing over this corpse. Ipuku steps up beside you at the ritual altar. Well, I suppose you have done everything you are going to do. Again, this is fully not something I was expecting to happen. I have never seen anybody just go and bite someone like that. So that's new. I've seen a lot of stuff out in the desert. I communed with the wind for 30 years. I was a hermit in the desert. This is new. So, even as old man, we still are learning new things, it seems. I don't know what else, if there's anything else you need to do here. You look, please? Okay, you're not saying anything, so I'm...
Yeah,
Are you...
I'm gonna go.
Okay, that's fine. I can handle this. This is something I can handle. What's going on
Okay,
here?
great.
I'm just gonna...
Yeah, great. Yeah. You do your thing. I'm gonna... Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Goodbye. I will
Bye.
see you later, maybe. Not know.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Please leave. You're making me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, Alexandra is just like, okay. And
Okay.
walks out the door.
Puri and Electra, you're standing in the tunnels outside, and Alexandria steps out.
Oh, and you got something?
Killed someone?
Yeah, just
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
He was gonna die. and he didn't want to die. So I said I could make his death quick, and that's what I did. And he didn't want them to get all of his blood, so I took it in exchange for strength. Yeah, I ate it, drank it. Yeah. Alexander's probably just like staring at the floor and just like, what is happening? Like, I feel weird on that good soup.
You know, whatever gets your rocks off, just don't do that to me.
I won't. But he wanted me to do it. Was a mercy because I made it quick. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah. And Alexandra probably shakes her head and she's like,
Yeah.
All
right. Do you want to maybe like go lie down? What time is it?
I want to go beat up. I want to go beat up an ogre.
It's early in the morning. It's like 7 a.m.
Still?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I want to go.
Yeah, that time has passed. It didn't take long to just stab a guy on an altar.
Well, didn't we talk? Did we take a rest after talking to all the people? Because I remember.
Yes, that was the night before. You took a long rest. This is the morning after you returned from your little jaunt out into the desert.
Right, and after we. Do I still have my stress thing?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. Well, do you want to go lie down or something? I don't really know what to do. I just don't really know people who drink blood, and I just don't know what. It's just new.
Yeah, it's new to me too. But I really just want to go like beat something up. Like I just really want to go like fight something, you know? Because then like now like you know like a suit said like, oh, drink it and then you'll like be more powerful, and that's what I did so that I could protect us and you know like go be like, ha, we're good people. Don't kick us out. But now I'm really starting to think that, you know, even though I feel great, he's like dead, you know, but like it was again like a mercy because he didn't want them to have the blood, so then if I take the blood then it's like not as bad, you know, like. And so now like if I don't go fight something and go like kill something like an ogre, then it's like he died for nothing, and then like I made a mistake and I don't want to, you know, like it's just like there's a whole like. And I just feel too good, and I just feel really bad, but I feel really good.
Okay,
and
breathe,
like
breathe.
Really.
Take a deep breath. We'll beat something up, okay? Let's go see when they're sending people out for the ogre.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go. Come on, there. Let's go. She's like, like wringing out her hands, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, what's going through Electra's head? I don't know if she's in the past freely associated with too many casual
She
murderers.
probably knows. Well, no, I'm thinking like she probably knows like of vampires, just that like based on her like experience in like battle and stuff, but she's probably never known any that were good. So she's kind of like, what is going on here? You killed a dude and you're saying it was mercy, but you killed a dude and he's dead. And I don't know what to think, but you look more stressed than I am, so let's go deal with you.
So you walk back through the tunnels, heading towards that sort of hunter's area, the arrows where they congregate and sort of maintain watch over the outside. They keep their equipment. On your way there, you pass Anna in the hallway, the only other high elf you've met here. She stops in the hallway as you know you're oncoming. And holds up a finger and points it at Alexander and says, someone told me you said you spoke with Sue?
Yeah, we had a little conversation. He was kind of annoying.
Alexandria
Alexandra like looks at notes like you guys' reactions. I had a very informative conversation with Suit.
Okay. As I mentioned to you, when we first talked, I am not of this place, and neither are you. But for the few decades I have been here, no one has claimed to actually speak with Sult, let alone myself. She turns to Electra. We both have a connection, as it were, to the divine, yes?
Yes.
So, something I've realized here is that it feels like there's not a specific deity I am drawing my spells from. I still have access to the magics I did when I was back in where I was before, but now it is sort of ambient. I think. I
like
don't really
you can't talk to you. Like
right, it is like it's like dipping a cup into a pool of water, and pouring water out, but there's no one handing you the cup. It's sort of just there. I mean, is this match your experience? I mean, you have not been here long at all. It's only been a day, 2 days, So maybe you still have a connection to your god?
Oh, well, funny story. It's actually my dad. So, maybe I should ring him up. I've been trying, but I haven't really just sat down. But I did try to pray once, and just didn't really nothing really worked. It's been really weird. But I did hear a voice of someone, but it definitely wasn't my god, and I thought it was just a weird vision. As for the cup thing, I don't think we're on the same page.
Okay.
If you need a cup, I'll get you one.
No, I don't actually. It was a metaphor.
Right.
About spells. Point being, what I was saying about Suit is that the gods, she looks around, the gods that people of Arikir worship, I have tried in the past to commune with them by means of my clerical spells, and I have never really gotten anything back. I mean, there is a presence of divine magic in this place for sure. I mean, the Sud speakers, I mean, they have a connection to something, and in the city of Muhar, there are priests that also can tap into divine magics, but when you say you've spoken to Sud, I just... Is there anything, specific about Sud that you could describe to me?
He had a very intense energy.
Did you see a manifestation of him?
No, I saw a manifestation of a scene. It was more just a non-visual energy that I felt around me that was pulling strings and more this very back and forth conversation.
And what did the conversation entail? Did he provide guidance, or again, the gods of Arikir are complicated, especially for people like us that are not from here.
Complicated is a good word.
So, uh, I, Electa, you mentioned your father was
Yeah.
your god. The place I am from, there was also a knowledge of things such as the lower planes. Is this something that sounds familiar to you?
Little, yeah. Why?
So, in a sense, suit, I don't sense any hierarchy like that where there is a structure here of planes, but it's almost as if the suit is sort of separate from the other gods of Harkir. The suits chosen worship all the gods. They acknowledge them all, but mostly pay their worship and ascribe their beliefs to the ideology of suits chosen. Whereas the people of Muhar worship the rest of the pantheon, but sort of distance themselves from Sut. Sut is sort of an antithesis to. It's sort of a negative figure almost in the Akirran religion, but they still acknowledge Sut as a god, just not one they worship. But Sut's chosen do. It's sort of the inverse out here. The Sut's chosen know the desert worship Sut, but sort of, I mean, again, acknowledge the existence of the other gods, but only really worship Sut. It's sort of like a split in their ideology.
Yeah, I heard that you actually go to Muhar sometimes because you know someone there.
I do. Yes. This will be a complicated conversation. And she looks at Alexandria. Specifically, she like reflexively glances at your elven ears and then sort of refocuses up. Yes, I do know. I have a friend in Muhar. He is a acquaintance of mine. He is from Akir, but we exchange information when I do end up in Muhar. So I have been in Muhar. It's sort of every few months I would head out there. But my stays are always brief for a multitude of reasons. One being, I believe until right now, I was the only high elf in Harkir, and that is the Akirans are very suspicious people, and there's a lot of history that is lost. There are half elves in Muhar. There are no high elves. And then there are the feral elves that I have heard. That is also a bit of a mystery to me. They are in the desert, some say. They are underground, others say. I do not know specifically. I mean, for all I know, it could be goblins that they just call elves. So, but yes, to answer your question, I have been to Muhar. It is a long journey to get there. Why do you ask?
What's your friend's name? Just curious.
His name is Athos. He's a librarian, a scholar, a researcher.
Well, there's a few things. So, number one, are you saying that people are like prejudiced against elves?
That so are you planning to go to Mohar? Because it's not necessarily a conversation we need to have if you're not planning to go. If you're just sort of going, if you want to stay here, then this is a topic we do not need to broach.
Oh, well, that's the second point. Is I was wondering when the next time you're going, because maybe we could tag along, because I think it would be helpful for us. Maybe we could find our way home.
You mentioned the librarian, the scholar. Perhaps
Yes.
there's troves of information that might be of aid for all of us.
Well, that is certainly a reason I do go to see Atis and his family. They own one of perhaps the only libraries in Muhar. The Akirrans, there is history everywhere in this place. If you were to trek through the desert, it is undoubted that you would come across monuments lost to time and the sands. But largely, the Akirrans do not have an interest in history. They seem to just focus on the day-to-day, really. But, as I said, Atis and his family, they own a library, so certainly without a doubt, there is information to be found there for sure. And he is also an intellectual that I value his insight. May I ask, so, I mean, I don't want to discourage you in the sense of searching for a way home. It's not that I have not searched for a way out of Arid, but I have not searched for a way home as much as I have maybe a place outside of Arid, and largely I have not really turned up anything in the, again, decades I have been here. I have eked out an existence for myself here among Suits people. It is a mundane, at times harsh life, but it is not a bad life. There is freedom to be had here amidst the harsh life in the desert.
I see. I mean, I think, a fresh set of eyes could never help, but never hurt. And looking for a way out. But, only if you're ending up going to Mahar. Otherwise, no worries.
I mean, it has been some time since I have went. My hesitation comes from, again, it is a long journey and certainly dangerous. If not for the heat, for the beasts in the desert. Question, I just want to touch on this one more time. Under what circumstances did you find you spoke to Soot? Because again, it's a god that, again, largely not spoken to.
Well, he actually kind of it's kind of funny. He kind of just pulled me into this little mental scene thing in my head, and this I was transported somewhere, kind of, and
What
he just kind of
were you in the, were you under the moon? Were you asleep?
No, I was awake, and then you just kind of it was a chord, you just kind of 1 minute it's almost if you pick something up and you're just whoa,
you picked something up.
No, but you it's that type of feeling. You just do something and then you're just 1 minute you're there, 1 minute you're not. And then he was just look at this scene. Here's some advice.
I see. Well, if that happens again, tell me, as you know, I am not of Suits chosen, but I am a chosen of Suit, as they have ordained me. So I offer you my ear as not only a person who is of a Suits chosen, but also perhaps someone who is not of Harakir. By the way, you, Piri, I do not know what you did, but it seems that some of the warriors have taken notice of you.
Oh. Yeah. I killed a lot of things.
They seemed impressed with your strength. They said you carried a giant hyena carcass miles through the desert.
One of the pack llamas or whatever they are.
Good shy.
Well, certainly impressive. Okay. Well, I will not get. Oh, they said you offered to go fight ogres.
Harry's just gonna like not say anything and
look at Alexander.
Look at yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good luck. I do not know what you are going to face out there, if it is even ogre. We thought ogres were long gone. I mean, not a lot of food in the desert, especially for large beings such as them. So we sort of thought they died out from starvation or whatever. So whatever you face out there, I do hope you return. I'm going to go carry out my duties. Come find me later if you need me, and maybe we can talk about Muhar.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
She nods and passes you and walks down the hallway. And you step into the hunter's quarters, where there are certainly not arrows, but blades gearing up. And Alexander, you actually recognize two of these blades as the individuals who had sort of like cornered you in a tunnel earlier. And they sort of look up and glare at you before they go back to like gearing up.
The way Alexandria levels glares at them and like probably brushes to show off her weapons and how nice they are, and like you know, like,
do we notice this exchange?
Give me a perception
Alexandria's
check.
not trying to be subtle at all, I will add. Like, this is like completely like a
you can give me a perception check. I'll
raise
tell you
my
what you
eyebrows.
Yeah.
That's a 13.
Okay. You see one of the two like exchange glares with Alexandria. You don't catch anything on the other one.
Right.
You just sort of see them like exchange hostile looks between each other. So yeah, so it's there's a couple arrows in here.
Enemy lovers. Here we go.
You see a Temu is also in here. He was sort of having a conversation with them. He turns to face you as you enter. Okay. So, are you ready?
Are you leaving?
Am I leaving? No, I am the warder. I will be staying here to protect my people. It is my duty to protect, not to hunt.
I understand that.
So, from through all the information we essentially know is to the east is the direction they came from, or that they had went to go looking for, what the hunt they went on last night. You're just going to have to head east, all of you, and give it your best effort to hopefully track down this ogre before it either makes it back to a tribe or we lose it, because this death of our people will not go unanswered.
All right.
So, bring your water, keep your wits about you, and bring everyone back. And he says that to the blades. And you're ready to go. If there's anything you want to do before you head out, let me know. Otherwise,
I want to know the name of people that cornered me.
are you asking someone?
Yeah.
Are you just asking them, or like a Temu?
Yeah, I'll ask a Temu.
Cool. Here's good Temu. He says, those two. That is Kose and Akem. Don't mind them. They have good intentions. as all of us, they just are putting the interests of the tribe first. It's just you are all different and new, and some people react in different ways, so I wouldn't pay it too much mind.
But if it happens again, we might have an issue. That's all. Alexandria does not give him a chance to respond.
Okay.
It's just like done. Like turns to Piri, I don't know. And it's just like, look at this blade, you know?
That's a nice blade, right?
Right?
A nice blade you got there.
Yeah.
You're walking out. Nazim steps out of the hunter's house. He was in there too. He goes, "Oh, hey, you said you wanted one of these." And he tosses Alexandria a cudgel. It's just a rock on a stick, like smooth
cudgel?
stone. He goes,
"Thank you, bestie Nazim."
Like I said, they are not hard to find. I mean, we pretty much make it's not hard to make either. But may it serve you well. Good luck.
Thanks.
What a good person.
Bestie Nazim came in clutch.
You head outside. It is a scorching day out. Why doesn't everyone give me some survival checks as you head out?
What's the name of the weapon again?
The
cudgel.
captain? Oh, the cudgel.
No, the weapon that he... The cudgel.
Yeah.
Oh. You know,
Yours
it's
have,
like teetering on a really nice number and then it goes to like...
Oh, that's the worst.
Yep.
I got a 6 for survival.
Okay.
I got 19.
Okay.
Holy moly.
Starting strong.
Imperi, what'd you get?
I got a 16.
Okay. Let's see. Oof. Okay. So you head out. Unfortunately, with the winds and the sand, tracking in the desert is complicated. You sort of have the information on where you're going, like a general direction. But beyond that, looking for specific signs, you're not really going to find tracks. But the good thing about navigating in a desert is your sight line is pretty far. So it's not like you're in woods where, you know, you don't be able to see so far. You head east. One of the blades says, and it's not one of the ones that has beef with Alexandria. It's actually a woman. She says, if I were an ogre, I'd probably go somewhere in the shade or underground. I cannot imagine they would stay out in the open sun. So perhaps we stick close to the canyons and keep an eye out there. Does this sound good to everyone? The other blades nod. Cool. So the blades are leading the pack. There's 4 of them. You trek for an hour. It's hot. No signs. 2 hours go by. No signs. 3 hours. And you're starting to get to probably, you imagine, where they encountered the ogre, perhaps, or like this is originally where their route was supposed to take them. And as we arrive here, why doesn't everyone give me a perception check?
Cool. $23.
Ooh.
16.
Got a 12.
Okay. So there is certainly long, dead, and brittle vegetation out here, especially in more of like the closer to the canyon walls, you know, where it's cracked earth, not just dunes of sand. And something does catch Electra's eye, and that is a tree that is, you know, gnarled and dead, but it is uprooted and leaning against the wall of the canyon at the base of a cave.
Hey,
and
do you
that
guys
catches your eye as something odd.
See that? It looks kind of... It doesn't look very natural.
How bizarre.
How bizarre.
The blades stop, look over. No, certainly not natural. This could be the cave we were looking for.
Can you guys see inside caves? Or do you want some light?
Can we see inside caves?
Like, I can see when it's dark.
No, we cannot. We don't have eyes like the elf.
Here. And I'll, like, take one of theirs, like, swords or cudgel or something and cast light on it so that they'll have some light.
Gotcha. They're fully surprised. Like, I mean, they.
Piri, do you have dark vision?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you all have dark vision. Yeah, so you're a few hundred feet away from the mouth of this cave. Aside from that uprooted tree leaning against the side of the cave, nothing really stands out that's super, eye-catching.
Electra's gonna, like, run her hand on the bark, just to be like, oh, I miss home.
Run your hand on the bark.
Splinter! Jay!
It's a dry and gnarled tree.
Oh, God. Anna, really? Really? Thanks, Sid.
One of the blades fully grabs you on the shoulders like, hey, maybe quiet down a little bit, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Got a splinter? I think if you got a splinter, you'd be a little noisy as well.
Not even close. No.
Mm-hmm. Is this one of the ones that had beef, or is this one of the other ones?
Yeah, who is it?
It's the beefy boy?
Yes, it is one of them.
Alexander's glaring at this in the background.
Yeah, this will be the one that's Cam is his name.
Yeah, him. Well, mind your own beeswax, thanks.
I don't think I know what beeswax is.
I do.
He releases his hand from your shoulder, and he says, "All right, I suppose we should just go and kill this beast and be done with it."
Well, we should be smart with how we approach this.
What does that to be smart about? There are 7 of us. There are one of them, large it may be.
Okay, but are you planning on attacking this thing in this cage where we are backed into a limited space when it is a very big
We are not backed in.
room?
The ogre is backed in.
Are you sure there's only one?
Maybe we should check what's in there first.
I agree. Alexandria, be our guest.
Okay. Alexander's full out, just like does not wait for anybody else to say anything. Yeah. And
I'm just gonna like look at the blades and be like, she's really good at this part.
Okay.
This is her specialty.
For sure. If you're heading in, are you just walking in or you're stealthing?
Sneak in, stealthy all the way. It is sneaky sneak time, my friends.
All right, sneaky sneak
time. We love sneaky sneak time for you.
I'm excited. This is my favorite. Okay. Do you want me to roll a...
Yeah, stealth check.
Oh my god.
Oh, the music. That's not my side.
That doesn't look like a nat 20 face.
It is!
Oh, dang! Oh my gosh.
That's
so
good.
What's your total?
That was me not believing it, and because of this dice, it's sometimes hard to read, and I was like, that's I was like 0-2, and I was like, no, Kayla. So that's a nat 20, and then my modifier is 3, so 23, but nat 20.
Okay. So fully a ghost. You slink into the cave. You head in about 30 feet and you see the cave sort of veers off to the right. The light is beginning to fade as you round a corner. You see two branching paths that both look like they're heading down. There's a left path and a right path, but it seems like they're both part of the same direction, that it's just sort of like they're looping around a central... Yeah.
And then come like to...
Yeah.
Okay.
So you take either one of those, you step over some rubble, and what languages does Alexandria... Essentially, yeah, what languages does Alexandria speak?
Let me check. I speak Elvish, Common, and Infernal, I think.
Okay.
Infernal, jeez.
You head down this other path about 20 feet, and you hear deep baritone conversation in a language you don't understand. That's very curt, short, just like a few words. Like,
can I try to memorize? Can I try, even if I don't know, can I try to memorize as best as I can what?
Sure,
like,
give me
just be able to like relay it or a word or two.
Give me
to be like, this is
just
what
like a flat intelligence check.
Conversation, you say?
15. Yeah, that's what conversation. 15. Thank you.
Cool. So you recognize, like, you get down like a few keywords like "otach" and like "men und," just these like guttural, deep sounds, and just accompanied by that, you hear like bones crunching, just like if potato chips sounded like bones. It sounds like something is cracking bones as if they were potato chips. So it's just like, you just hear like tearing and cracking sounds and conversation. And you...
Delicious.
You hear a grunt, and then something thuds on the wall next to you and clatters to the floor. And you see an arm that is just, most of the meat has been torn off of it. It's just mostly like bone and ligament.
Can I grab it? Or would that be like...
You could grab it. You're very stealthy right now.
Yeah, I want to grab it. Yeah.
You grab it. It's a human arm.
Okay.
Don't eat it.
And as you reach out and grab the arm, you cast your glance off to the side and you see 3 hulking figures sitting around in a circle, conversing.
3
munching on corpses, 2 hunters' corpses, and it looks like there's a hyena in there. You catch there's one of these, again, like 9 to 10 feet tall, hulking close to 1,000 pounds. You see that there's some clubs in here. That looks like there's 2 clubs in here. There's this one ogre who has the heads of 2 humans sort of strung through a necklace. It's wearing as like jewelry.
Oh, no.
And you see one of the ogres is holding just a full torso, just biting into it and tearing off flesh, as if it was like a big sandwich.
Oh. Okay.
So yeah, this is the scene Alexander sees, is 3 hulking ogres just eating some dead people and hyena.
How stable do these like tunnels of the cave look?
They seem natural. They seem like they're natural cave structures. There's not really a support system in place. Like there's not any like wooden beams or anything holding the cave up. This just seems like a natural structure, so it doesn't seem like it's in any risk of collapsing.
Okay.
But yeah, they fully do not see you. But and they just continue on with this guttural conversation as they feast upon these remains.
Okay. Alexandria is gonna slink back, I guess. I don't think there's much else.
Gotcha. You slink on back out. And one of the blades says, "Well, what is it? You find the ogre?"
Make that plural. There's 3 of them. And she's gonna repeat the words she picked up.
Ken.
Yeah. There's 3 of them.
Me?
Very tall. 2 clubs. You were right about, yeah. And then is gonna hold up this arm and say, "I found a keepsake, and I believe it may belong to your friends. I think I saw their heads, so you might want to be prepared for that emotionally, because they got turned into a necklace."
You say as they say one got turned into a necklace.
They both
2 of them, the dudes that like I'd be with you, fully grab their weapons and take steps towards the entrance of the cave.
Hey! No! Alexandra, like
wearing
this, and
our
says,
brothers and sisters as jewelry.
And you will get revenge, but we have to be smart because there's 3 of them, 3 big hunking things in a cave system that goes like this, and she's gonna like make a with the arm. Kind of
see, one of them
motion.
snatches the arm from your hand and just sort of holds it reverently. They look like they say like a silent prayer, and they go put the arm in a pack that they have, something that they can bring back of their fallen. Say, "Okay, smart elf, what's the plan then?"
Hey, Alexandra's gonna look over at Piri to be like, I'm better at one-on-one late night assassinations, torture, not necessarily like this, where, Piri seems to know more about the strength of this stuff. So collectively, if anybody wants to chime in, Goldilocks, if you got any fun magic that could help, I'm thinking I don't know where the best place would attack them, because they like shade, they like their little corner, but this thing is also like a circle. So I'm not confident in backing them in a corner, because in a closed range, there's some nasty clubs that could take us out in one thing if we try to corner them in that position.
On top of that,
respond, Piri and Electra, give me an insight check real quick.
Ooh.
Oh God.
16.
Nat 20.
Ooh,
24.
16 for Piri?
Yep.
Here you guys go.
A lot of 16s today. So Piri, you catch that the blades here, as Alexandra was talking and earlier when she said that she's like, I'm more used to like assassination and like torture and stuff. They like a look of like concern and wariness goes over their face. Electra, you catch that the 2 blades that have beef with Alexandria sort of share a look with the other 2, like, see, we told you, like, this one's not good. Like, this is a problem. So you catch that. And you may now reply to Alexandria.
Piri.
Yeah. So, normally, if I was going to take a job to kill an ogre, you would have to pay me a lot. And if you gave me a job to kill 3 ogres, I wouldn't take it. Because we will die.
I was thinking perhaps we could, like, kill 2 birds with one stone and, like, shut them in. But the structure of the cave seems pretty natural and sound. And so I don't know if we want to try to utilize a different tactic versus just trying to take them on with weaponry.
That's what I was thinking.
Well,
we could block them in.
Block them in would work.
I have some oil and could make like a little throwing fire thing. Like
smoke them out.
One of the hunters nods to Piri and says, "We could smoke them out. draw back and take shots at them from a distance as they exit the cave.
Is there any elevated position here as we're near the edge? Like where we could sit?
The upper tree.
Where they couldn't throw it where we're on, you know, like kind of like with the hyenas where me and Nazim, like we went up to snipe, kind of like something like a position like that.
Yeah, so you're sort of in a the cave is here. It's, you know, cracked earth, flat ground is sort of the general area, but there is the cliff face itself along the wall where the cave is. There are certainly footholds on that cliff wall. You know, just like narrow outcroppings where it looks like there's room to stand. However, certainly a precarious footing.
What do you guys think?
We could stay there and smoke them out. I think that gives a good element of surprise. Or we could go in and trap them. I do think it is pretty dangerous that there's 3.
Smoke them out and then trap them so that they're stuck in a cave full of smoke.
I think it might be good if I just stick to taking care of anybody who gets hurt and letting most people do the damage.
Do you think it makes sense to be closer to fight them, smoke them out, fight them, trap them, from a more larger, like when dealing with it, what has the better outcome in your experience, do you think? Or to your knowledge?
Are you asking the blades or are you asking Fury?
Fury. Sorry,
okay.
Fury. Yeah.
Personally, I'd rather just try and get it to, if we're gonna fight, we fight one at a time. That is what I'm most confident with, because I feel like if we do trap them in, they're giant, they can probably bust their way out.
Okay, so then how do we do that? How do we lure them out one by one, or try to? And where should we be positioned?
One of the blades, Bella, pops up. It says, well, if the stories are true, ogres are incredibly stupid. Like legendarily dim-witted. There is a chance we could trick an ogre, but I think the more complicated a plan you would try, the raw stupidity of the ogre might counteract any, you know, elaborate schemes you may come up with, you know, like an assassination like you talk about, and maybe things like that not work here.
So are we wanting to deal with them one by one, or all 3? Like, what are you trying to say?
I think the problem with them is as long as we can stay out of their reach, or at least as long as we can, the safer we will be.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
How strong is an ogre's sense of smell? Like, if I were to take off, say, like an outer cloak or garment and covered it in blood, and then tied it to a rope and like threw it in to drag it out, would that do anything?
I think maybe if they saw something like that, they would follow it, maybe, but sense of smell, nothing we have in the stories that says they are intelligent or great trackers by any means. Just, I think monstrous bullies, essentially, is what is written of them.
Kiri, what are you thinking with dealing with this? Like, where are your thoughts right now?
My thoughts are we can keep our distance, but I feel like they're gonna charge us. So, best case scenario is if we can collapse something, this cave, you would want to collapse it and separate them.
That's a really good point.
If we smoked them out and all three of them came out, even if we're at a range, they'll run right to us. If only one of them is able to get out, while the rest are trying to do something in the cave, I think our chances are a lot better.
Do you have means to keep an ogre in a cave? Yeah, I must ask.
Based on the resources around us, we do not have much. But collapsing the cave somehow seems like the best bet.
Yeah. I think it's worth a shot.
Okay,
I think we should try one of the tunnels that you were saying connects back. We should try to collapse one of those too, so that they only have one way to get out and they can't really get in and around all that much.
We collapse a tunnel.
I mean, that's a really good question.
I have no explosive. I can make a small fire thing out of oil, but I don't have anything that would be powerful enough to last or cause damage.
I mean, I've got things like that can create thunder, but I don't think it'd be like it doesn't really do damage, like pulling things down, like breaking things to falling down. Yeah, I can't do much.
So around the cave entrance, like this is, I'm asking the DM. How does it look like you could cover it? Like, could you describe like kind of the cave entrance, how it works again?
Sure. The cave entrance is about 12 feet in like width and about 11 feet in height, but it pretty quickly slopes down to about, like 8 feet of height. It's circular for sure. Again, it's on sort of just like a flat surface. It just kind of goes in and down. Within the cave, there's two branching, there's like a central area, so instead of one path, it goes in and around. So it's just like what would be one path, there's sort of just a central area where there's just wall, which then leads down to a wider area where the ogres were.
Were they saying anything?
Yeah, Alexandra's gonna repeat the ones that she was able to catch to her best ability.
Yeah.
She's gonna go for it.
If anybody speaks giant, no, then Alexandra recites some ogre words to you.
Yeah.
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 No idea what that means.
Okay, plan. What are we feeling? Are we gonna try to close it?
I say we get at range, smoke them out, because at this point I don't know how we're gonna collapse it in.
Yeah. Okay, so then is there a positioning period that you think would be safest? Because, I can do like a little crawly. I'm really good at, climbing walls. So like I could like, perch up there to snipe if you want above the entrance.
Yeah, that could work.
that could help in any way, because I could sit on that ledge, probably not sit, but like stand, you know?
I'm thinking, though, as a distraction, if you can sneak in again.
I could sneak in and then like climb to where they couldn't get me. If
I can make noises and stuff. I have this cantrip or this thing I know, and I can like make it sound like something, or
like somebody dying.
A little bit. Yeah, I could. Like, I could make a sound that or like comes from a certain place, a certain sound. I can also change like the flames or make my voice really loud.
All useful options, but I was more thinking sneaking into the cave, and as we set up something to smoke them out in here, you set up a couple little, also, I guess, mini bonfires, so that possibly they will have to split up and figure out what's going on.
That's actually really good. I can give you some, like, torches or anything you want.
So you want me to sneak in and light little fires? Do you want them in a specific location?
Just places that will have to get them to panic and run around. Maybe even high up to locations that they'd have trouble reaching, so that one will want to come out here. Hopefully not two, but at least not three. And so they'll have to stop the fires inside first, while one is out here. Something like that.
That's smart.
Because what we do not want is three of them.
Yeah. One by one.
Okay, so what's it gonna be?
I can make the ground tremor, but I don't think it'll bring anything down. It's harmless.
Make the ground tremor, and harmless doesn't do much.
I know. Just
but
kind
if the ground is trembling, will they be like, what? Because like they mentioned that ogres aren't, but like that's a basic like it's too bougie.
I mean, it's easy for me to do, so I might as well do it just to.
Everyone give me a perception check real quick.
Oh no. Yeah. Surprise, they're like peeking their heads out.
Way too long. 17.
Okay. I got a 5.
I got an 11.
Electra, you and one of the blades catch from the cave. It sounds like arguing. Then you hear a thud of something like smashing into a wall. Then you hear stomping footsteps.
Like coming to outside. Alright, new plan! Get in your spots, let's go! And Electra's gonna like back up and pull out her crossbow.
Cool. You probably have time to get about 100 feet away from the cave entrance before.
Honestly, I'll probably only go like 50 feet.
Okay.
And then I'll just like wait and make sure everyone else is getting to a good position.
If you're gonna if you're gonna be distracting over there, I think I will follow, so that if the ogre came for you, I will be the shield, effectively.
Very nice. Thank you.
Alexandria is gonna climb.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna climb the rock wall, and I want to be out of reach.
Give me an athletics check.
Oh God.
Oh, can I cast guidance on her before I move back?
So what is that?
So
what is
should
that?
Be able to add a D4.
Add a
to any check. Oh, hold on. Guidance D&D. Let me just double check what
athletics
rule is.
So that's 15, and then 2 with that. If it is a D4, is 17 for athletics.
Okay. How high up are you trying to get from like 10 to 30 feet up?
What are the options? I want to go as high as I can. I want to be able to antagonize them, but I don't want to be able to get hit very easily.
Gotcha. You can certainly clamber up about 30 feet, which will get you easily out of melee range.
Okay.
Okay. So, a few more seconds pass. Everyone has settled into their spots. A few moments pass, and this ogre comes stomping out of this cave. Looks around, huffing, smacks the wall of the cave with its fist. What?
Can we fire?
Oh, yeah. Well, certainly.
Right as soon as we see him?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Roll initiative. Yeah, full surprise round.
Ooh, 8.
I got another 15. Well, it's 14, but...
Oh my god, I actually rolled high on an initiative roll this time. I got an 18.
Very nice.
We'd love to see it.
Okay. Here, you're up first.
Okay. How far away am I from it?
You are, because you're by Electra, you're about 45 feet away. You're just a little bit in front of Electra, who's 50 feet away.
Okay. So if I am gonna sneak attack it, I guess. My range options aren't super great, but either, you know what, maybe that's probably a better. I have 2 options. I think, what's the range on this? 1 second. Checking the range on a spell. My only spell. It's 30 feet. Never mind. Okay. Then I am going to pull out one of my very few javelins.
Nice.
And I'm just gonna huck it.
Cool.
Right at that ogre's stupid face. I think it has disadvantage because the range.
The range. Sure. This ogre rolled so bad on initiative, and it's a surprise round.
I guess
they're gonna come out to a dead friend.
Alright. Oh, okay. With disadvantage, that's 14.
That hits.
Yes! Suck it, ogre. 6 damage.
6 damage, nice, yeah. This ogre steps out of the cave, slams its fist into the wall, sort of huffing around, looks up to just catch this javelin fly right into its other arm, and it sort of just looks up and looks at its arm and sees the javelin in it, picks it out with a couple fingers, tosses it to the ground, and then looks out and sees all of you. Except Alexandria, who's up behind it on a wall. One of the hunters is one of the blades is going to take a shot with the heavy crossbow. Clean miss. Alexandria, it is your turn.
Kill it.
And
you do get sneak attack damage.
12 plus 3 is 15 to hit. I keep getting 15s. Okay. And I get sneak attack. Okay, so that's 6 plus 1 is 7 for the bow. And then, spooky dice, don't fail me now.
6.
Nice.
That's 6 level spells, baby!
That's good.
So that is
13.
Yeah, give me that total.
Yes.
13?
Yes.
Very nice.
Thank you.
You loose an arrow into the neck fat of this ogre, and it jolts as it feels this sting.
When I do this,
turns up.
I want to glare at one of the guys that I have beef with. I don't even want to look at the ogre. I just want to, up from this position, just fire this into the neck like you were describing, and just glare.
He fully sees you glaring at him, and still glares back. But then immediately focuses up. He's going to take his shot with the heavy crossbow. Does hit. for a solid 8 damage. Very nice. Lands a crossbow bolt into this thing. Electra, you're up.
Alright, I'm gonna get my crossbow ready, and I'm going to try, even though I'm stressed. Oh, okay. 17.
17 hits.
All that gotta do all that math in my head. And the stress only does
-1. Yeah, and that's only for checks,
but
not
for
damage.
ability checks, but not damage. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh! Alright, that's gonna be 9 piercing damage.
Ooh. Yeah. Immediately, this ogre is peppered with bolts and arrows. Another one of the blades takes a shot. That is a miss. The other hunter that has beef with Alexandria takes a shot. Does hit for 10 damage. Holy cow. A solid hit. The ogre is going now. Confused as all hell. Does the only thing it can think to do and charges in a straight line towards Piri. Closest distance, easy enough. And as it charges towards you, it grabs that tree that was leaning up against the cave and goes to swing at you with this entire tree.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, that's
Hey,
a
hope you're good
hit.
at ducking.
That's a 24 to hit.
Yeah.
Okay. That's gonna be... Oh boy. Here comes that damage. Brace
I'm
yourself.
not ready.
That's gonna be 15 bludgeoning damage.
Youch! My bones.
Your bones. You fully. I mean, you know, get your warhammer up, and you know, catch some of the blow, but it still hurts. But it is right back up to you. Period. It's your turn.
Ow! I'm gonna just shrug it off and use my
Oh, you
second
know what
wind.
though? That was a surprise round. So technically the ogre didn't get a turn. So you know what? Forget that. You didn't take that damage.
Oh no!
Oh my god.
Is it still at the front of the cave then?
Yes, it still would be
Okay,
at the
I
front of the
was-
cave.
I was just imagining that's how it would go for me.
Gotta
like,
keep
already getting
ourselves
stressed.
honest
Like,
here.
How would
So
Electra
good at
respond to this?
You were ready.
Electra
you
just
know?
I
saw
was
her
ready.
friend get whacked by a tree.
Yeah, I was just thinking about what happened.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
that.
That you Puri was envisioning what could potentially happen in the next 6 seconds.
Yeah.
So this ogre is out front now, badly peppered with arrows and bolts already. Grabs that tree trunk, but it is back to Piri.
All right. And can I, since I'm pretty sure it's gonna run at me because it is like looking at me, right?
Fully, yeah, you're straight ahead. It's got like a very tunnel vision look to its face.
All right. Now I pull out my shield and my warhammer, and I am going to take the dodge action, so it'll have disadvantage to hit me.
Very nice.
So I'm just like preparing to
Solid.
take the
Solid.
hit or block it. Yeah.
Okay. Any bonus actions or movement?
I'm gonna stand right where I am.
Okay.
Question:
That-
Are the blades
yes.
behind Piri and I?
They are to your right and to your left in pairs of 2.
Does it seem like Piri would be the obvious choice for the ogre?
Yeah, because
Seems
you're
kind of
sort of
annoyed at me.
center. They're off to the side. They're like 15 feet to the right and 15 feet to the left of you in sort of a diagonal formation, sort of like boxing in this ogre.
Got it.
This blade does hit with her heavy crossbow. Ooh. Geez, for a solid 8 damage. This ogre is already looking messed up. Alexandra, it is your turn.
Like to just send another arrow at it. Oh no. 10 plus 3. That's only 13.
That hits.
Oh! Beefy but squishy.
Beefy but
That's
squishy.
only 4 damage though.
Okay.
That's still really good.
Attack.
Knock another arrow into this thing. Another blade takes his shot. I gotta keep my dice in the tray. That is a miss. Electra, it is your turn.
Alright, I'm going to... Has anyone gotten hurt then?
No.
Just the ogre. Okay, so then in that case, I'm going to...
The ogre fully looks on death's door too. Honestly and truly.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stick with launching my crossbow at it.
Okay.
Oh, no. That's an 8.
8 does not hit. Another blade takes
Sticks
a shot.
into the tree.
Miss. Big target, not great at hitting it though. Akem, one of the hunters or blades that Alexander was speaking with, does land a hit though. And the bolt pierces the jugular in the neck of the ogre. It is, clawing at its own neck. Thuds to the knees, thuds to the ground, falls over, kicks up a bunch of sand, and drops. And this ogre is down.
It didn't even get a turn. This is a really good process.
Okay. Things are now looking much better.
Okay. I'm gonna look up at Piri and say, do you think I should make like a noise or something, draw the next one out so we can do the same thing and hit it before it gets a check?
Everyone actually give me a stealth check real quick.
Oh, God.
That's a 12.
Okay.
No, 13.
That's a
Sorry.
4, baby.
4?
I got a 19.
Oh, wait, I have disadvantage on stuff. Okay, yeah, no, it's a 4.
We both got 4.
So a 4. Alexandra, you had what?
19.
19. Okay. We have altogether 3 failures and 3 passes. So that's a 50-50. So we're just going to leave this up to chance here. And we're going to... We're gonna see if you are lucky or not.
Oh God.
Okay. Earlier you heard arguing in the cave. There's no arguing in the cave right now. And just as soon as you catch that thud, thud, dot 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 dot, and 2 ogres come barreling out of the cave, immediately clocking with you. We can.
Should we re-roll initiative, or are we gonna keep the initiative?
We can keep that initiative. That is totally fine with me. Okay, and lucky for you, these ogres still terrible initiative. So Piri, you're up first again. These ogres are just right out front of the cave, just a mere 5 feet in front of where this other ogre was dropped. So that puts them about 30 feet from you.
Oh, 30 feet from me. That's a perfect range. I'm gonna... do they still look very angry and looking at me?
They don't look passive. Let me make a perception check to see who they clock. One of them does catch that there's other people around besides you and Electra, but the other one is, again, tunnel vision. Like, they see you because you're straight ahead, and that's the way the cave opens. So they sort of lock onto you.
I'm gonna keep my dodge. Okay. My dodge action going.
Gotcha. One of these blades actually retreats 20 feet back and takes a shot. It's a miss. Alexandria, it is your turn. Yes.
Do they notice me and that I'm perched up there?
That's a good question. Give me a...
With that stealth check, though?
Give me a new stealth check because they are on alert. So I'm going to roll perception for them because they are not passive right now. You don't have to beat a high score. Just don't get like a nat 1.
That's a 12 plus 3 is a 15.
Cool, you had to beat a 6. They don't see you.
Okay, perfect. So would I get sneak attack?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's what? Wait.
What?
Yeah.
Are you getting it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, because they don't see me yet.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, I gotta use my spooky dice. Okay, so what one? Like do they look equally beefy? Like one's not more like
they both look equally beefy. There is the one that's wearing the necklace of like 2 heads of the suits chosen. But that's the only thing that's like separating it from the other. These 2 are carrying like big great clubs though, which don't look like well-made weapons, but do look like not just a tree. It looks like a tree that's sort of been like whittled down to a club.
The one with the necklace.
Yeah.
Okay. That one. What is the necklace made out of?
It looks like it's made out of like a thick cord of leather.
So like if I were to send a masterfully placed arrow at it to get it, would I be able to pierce that leather into its skin to try to like break the necklace? Or is that like...
That makes sense to me. I
want to break this necklace
to me.
try to hurt this thing.
Yeah. If you're going specifically for that, I'm gonna add a tiny bit to its AC, but certainly the AC is low, and it would definitely.
I'm still gonna go for it.
Okay. Get like a nat 20.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh no, nat 20 sneak attack. Oh no.
Oh no. Okay, so what do I do now? What do I do now? Okay.
Double the dice of everything. All the things.
That was a 6.
Okay.
And a 3.
Okay.
And then each of those. So wait, but I have a +1, so that would be 7 for the first one. +3 would be 10.
Yeah, if the plus to your damage, you're just adding 1s.
Yeah, that's just 1. Like I don't add 2, I just add 1.
Yes,
so then that would be 10.
Okay.
And then do I double sneak attack too or not?
Yes. What?
6.
You see those little skulls?
Oh my goodness.
And then 5.
So 21 damage?
Yeah, and as I do this, I want to lock eyes with starts with an A. That one that I have beef with. But instead of glaring, I'm just gonna smile softly as I pull this arrow, knock it, and aim to, hurt this thing, but also break that necklace. Yeah.
100%. You loose that arrow, you strike true, flies right down, and at an angle goes through the back of its neck fat and then sort of comes out the other angle, cleaving the necklace, in twain. It falls to the ground, thudding into the sand with the 2 heads. And then it's sort of just got like a neck piercing of an arrow going throughout like the back of its neck and coming out the front.
Ooh. That's a good one.
Yeah, a solid piercing. The other hunter that was next to Bella flees back a amount of feet as well and rejoins them about another 20 feet back. Takes another shot at the ogre. Does hit. They're going for the other one. For a in the tray, please. 9 damage. Jeez, they're rolling so good. Yeah. Okay. So this ogre that just took a crossbow is going to try to close distance with the blade that just shot at it. Let's see here. Here's 40 feet. Foley can make it. Is going to take a swing on Bella. That is gonna hit. Never pretty when this kind of roll happens. Alright. Unless you roll really bad. So she takes a solid 7 damage. She manages to get mostly out of the way of this swing.
Yeah.
Electra, you are up.
Alright. So was it the one with the piercing or the other one that went up to hit them?
The other one.
The other one? Okay, I'm gonna go for that one.
Okay.
And how far is it from me now?
From you?
If it came up, is it 15 feet now?
Well, those hunters fled a certain distance, so they're a bit farther away from you now.
Right. Okay.
About they're 40 feet away. This ogre's 40 feet away from you, to your left.
Okay. I'm gonna lock onto him and send a crossbow bolt. Hopefully. Let's hope.
100%.
Towards him. Oh, good lord! That is a 7.
Yeah, it's a miss. Arrow zips past and buries itself in the sand. The hunter on the other side, or blade, Kose, is gonna get some space, take a shot at the one Alexandria. Hit. That is a hit. Fort. These rolls so good. 8 piercing damage. It is now this ogre's turn. And I'm gonna make an intelligence check for this ogre to see if it's going to do something intelligent or not. It gets a -3 to its intelligence roll. Okay.
Ooh, nice.
It got average. It got a 10. It still thinks it's a good idea to hit something, so it goes for Piri. Gonna swing at Piri. Oh, but it gets disadvantage because of a dodge, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, Max, right before you, that face you made, that was spooky.
Yeah.
That was scary.
He rolled a nat 20.
Oh no.
Oh, that dodge action very well may have just saved your life. Okay.
Thank goodness.
And what is your AC right now?
It is 18.
18. It misses. You get out of the way. So you're all good there. Again, you just flicker through your mind of like what this thing might do as it swings down on you. You like briefly like imagine like, okay, if it swings down at this diagonal and I try to like step that way, I'm just gonna get squashed on the ground. So you step a different way and evade the blow.
Ooh.
Akem rejoins the other hunter that got some distance, takes a shot, misses. That brings it back to Piri. There is a lumbering 10-foot tall ogre standing right in front of you.
That's so tall.
Yeah. I guess I'll go for the shins.
Got it.
I'm gonna swing at him.
Okay.
Got a 15.
That hits.
Ooh, I got good shin damage.
Good
10.
shin damage. That's some good shin damage. Yeah, 100%.
Shin damage.
You definitely hear bones fracture as you connect with that shin with your warhammer. Only further enraging the ogre, trying very hard to crush you. Another blade that took distance is going to take a shot. That's a miss. Alexandra, you are up again.
The one that's like on Puri. I would like to like whistle.
Okay.
Really loud.
Yeah.
And then shoot it with the short bow. Like wherever it would be where like it's like, you know, like if it's like facing away or whatever it would be like to get it to like turn away from.
Gotcha.
To look away from Puri in the moment.
Yeah, it fully turns away and looks at you.
Okay, can I try to shoot it?
Yes, 100%. Whistling is a free action.
Nice. Okay, that's only 8 plus 3 is 11?
11 hits.
Oh, that was spooky. I was worried. Okay, that's only a 4 plus 1. That's only 5, but I would like to get its attention. So
you get sneak attack damage though because it's within 5 feet of Puri.
Ooh.
All right. That's another 5. So.
Of course it is. Yeah, you land a good hit.
Best perk ever.
Okay, blade takes a shot at the ogre that's on the others, not the one by Puri. Does hit for a solid 3 damage. Okay, this ogre on top of the blades is gonna swing. Does hit. Here we go with this. There you are, dice. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah, Bella takes a whopping 16 bludgeoning damages. She is battered with this club.
Oh no.
Electra, you are up. She's still standing though. She got knocked back, tumbled through the sand, and then stumbles back to her feet.
Okay. You said she's like 40 feet away from me? And I'm not in melee with the ogre that's on Puri, so I can move away, right?
Yes, that is true.
Okay. And who's with her? Who's getting with Bella?
There is, that would be Punan, another blade.
Okay, and he looks okay.
Yeah, he's not been hit yet.
He's fine. Okay, I'm going to move, like... okay, first I want to hit the guy... Oh no, first I want to move away before I get engaged. I want to move, and then use my bonus action, and when I'm in 30 feet, so I'm going to move 10, maybe max 15 feet closer to her, and I'm going to cast Sanctuary. So if a creature tries to hit her, she...
they roll with
it has to make a wisdom save. It has to make a wisdom save, and if it fails, it has to move to someone else.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
not bad. These are not wise
Sanctuary,
creatures.
Right? So Sanctuary on her, and then I'm going to move into range to cast that Sanctuary, and then I'm going to move back, and I'm going to cast. I'm going to hit this one. With Puri with my Warhammer, if I can.
Okay. Is Sanctuary like a bonus action then?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
100%. Go for it. Take a swing.
9.
Doesn't do it.
Those good rolls went out the window. At least I did something though.
You did something. Might save a life here. Kose
Let's hope.
Takes a shot.
She kind of leans in and goes, "Aye! Get away from her!" And then runs back and oh no, I missed.
going to be 4 damage to the ogre Alexandria hit. And it is now that ogre again, who's still right on Piri. And this is just a flat roll, no disadvantage this time.
Yep.
Okay, that's gonna hit for sure, for sure. Okay, lucky roll though. You take 8 bludgeoning damage as you catch a glancing blow with your shield. Ken takes a shot. Whiffs big time on a nat 1. His crossbow bolt like fully goes straight into the ground right in front of him as he scrambles to pick it up. His crossbow malfunctions a bit. Piri, it's back to you.
Now, I'm a little angry, so I'm going for the other shin.
Alright.
19.
19 hits.
Alright. With the 19, that'll be 8 damage.
Nice, yeah. Okay.
And I'm also gonna second wind.
Nice.
Ooh.
And I will heal for 9.
Solid.
Nice. I forgot about the second one. That's a good thing.
Okay. Bella is going to take a some swings with her mace. On a nat 20, that hits. So Bella's about to do some big damage here. Okay. Oh, baby. That is going to be 14 bludgeoning damage as she just goes in with her cudgel, whacking at this ogre.
Cudgel, yeah!
Alexandra, it is your turn again.
What one should I shoot?
Shoot one of them.
Yeah, I'll shoot the one closer to Piri just to try to knock some damage on it.
100%.
That's 13.
Hits.
Nice.
Right. And that's only 3.
Okay.
Do I get...
Yeah, you do get sneak attack damage. Still right on
Oh,
point.
that's pretty nice. That's another 2, so that's only 5 total, but...
Okay, that ogre looks on death's door. It's getting woozy with its movements. Kunin takes some swings with his cudgel on the ogre that is around top of him and Bala. Hits with both for 9 bludgeoning damage. It is now that ogre's turn. It's gonna try to make that wisdom save. And what is the DC on that?
12.
12, okay. It's a -2 to its wisdom.
Jeez.
That's cocked. Not even close. So it's gonna go for Tunin instead.
Yay!
And does hit on a 12. For 13 bludgeoning damage. As he's knocked into the air a little bit. Electra, it is your turn.
Okay, let me just check how long Sanctuary lasts. It lasts a minute. Okay. So I am going to try to hit this guy that's still with me in Piri. Again, with my Warhammer.
Okay.
Come on.
Oh yeah, Warhammer Twins.
Cocked. Oh! I should have kept it when it was cocked.
Feel like an nat 1?
It was cocked, and it was like, I did, which means I have to roll on my table.
Alright, hold on a second.
I have it.
Wait, what's happening?
Nothing.
Roll a d6 for me.
Yeah. I have the table here if you want to. Okay. Let's see. Oh no, I'm so scared. Okay, I got a 6. Re-roll the ability check, attack roll, or saving throw that you just made. You use the new roll. Wait, that is so funny because they're all bad except for that one.
Nice. Re-roll it.
Let's cocked again. Oh my god! That's a 19.
Nice. Yeah, you remember like a good memory of like Honor praising you after you did well in like a training bout. You know, his giant hand patting you on the back. Yeah.
Oh my god, I was so scared for a second. That was pretty bad. Okay. Now I rolled damage.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you know, guys, that can get really bad. So, you're very lucky. That's going to be 6 Nope. I rolled the wrong dice. Sorry.
Piercing damage with the warhammer.
My crossbow. Yeah, I was looking at my crossbow. Okay, that is going to be 7 bludgeoning.
Electra, drop that ogre.
Oh! Okay, so like, she's been missing. She's been having a really rough time right now. She's just not doing so good. And you could just tell that like being in the desert has been taking its toll on her. And then she kind of like looks up at this ogre and she has this like, she kind of like goes to swing and it looks like, oh, she's gonna miss again. It's gonna be really bad. And then she just like hits it right under the chin and it just goes flying back and just like
nice.
In the sand.
Fully extends into a lunge to make that reach to like uppercut that ogre.
Yeah.
Cool. Another blade's gonna take a shot on the last ogre standing. Another nat 1. It's a miss.
Oh, no.
Cool. That's a chem's turn. Does hit with that shot for 9 piercing damage to that ogre, who now also looks significantly close to death's door. Period is back to you.
Aw, yeah. So we got one ogre down.
There's one left, and it's on.
One left.
It is about 35 feet, well, 30 feet away from you.
Ooh, I'm gonna run up to it.
Very nice.
Give it a little smack.
What you described?
A little bonk. 14 bonk.
That bonk hits.
All right. We got 7 bonk damage.
7 bonk damage. Very nice. Fury. Drop that ogre.
Yes. Okay. I want to just like tap him in it more in the shins and his legs, so he like crumples to his knee, and then I'm just gonna like. Am I on his back, like facing? Is he facing away from me, or is he facing me? Okay.
Yeah, he's facing away.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna like use my momentum since I was running to like run up his back and bring the hammer down on his skull.
Nice.
Oh my god.
Bring the hammer down, cracking into the skull. It falls to its knees, thuds forward as you stand on its back in front of these 2 blades. And you stand in the sand amidst the corpses of 3 giant ogres.
Oh my god.
That have been deftly dealt with.
That's insane. Okay. I would like... Oh, I have to write down that I use my spell slot. I forgot to write that for Sanctuary. I am going to... Who looks really, really hurt? Piri got a little munched.
I healed with my second wind.
You did.
I look fine.
Alexandria, you're fine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Gucci.
Bella took a lot of damage. How are the rest of the blades looking?
Bella is looking beat up. Tunin took some damage, but he's looking scuffed, but okay. Kose and Akem are fine. They didn't get touched.
Okay, so I'm actually gonna go cast Cure Wounds on Bella.
Okay, yeah, 100%.
Alright, so let me roll. That's going to be... she gets 9 hit points back.
Very nice. You rest your hand on
I'm gonna go, but yeah. It's literally like really, really gentle and sweet. I'm like, hi, hon. How you doing? How you going?
She looks better? As her wounds sort of knit and her bones sort of recorrect themselves, and she looks at you and says, you should talk to the hero. You should be a speaker for Sooth. With magic like this, you could heal us.
Well, I guess I could, yeah, I'd love to help you guys out. I'm just glad you're okay. That's the most important thing right now is that you survived.
Thank you. I am okay.
She's gonna kind of like look up to see if Alexandria like heard what she said and like kind of like just kind of like look like, did you hear that? Yeah.
You're
cool. Okay.
With the volume they're speaking at,
Alexandria is probably crawling down because I want to go back and do a sweep through this cave to make sure everything's done.
Your turn. Electra's not going in and
yeah, Alexandria's gonna go like check out this cave one more time, do a thorough sweep, and try to collect the remaining body parts.
Cool. Yeah. Go ahead and give me a perception check as you go inside.
Oh, that's a 18 plus 3. That's 21? Yeah?
Yeah. Okay, so you go inside. You head back to the cave. You step through the rubble stuff. You're seeing everything in shades of gray with your dark vision as it's dark in the cave. You look around. You find a lot of refuse and waste from these ogres. You do find some remains. It looks like the bodies of these hunters, these arrows, were largely dismembered into handheld portions to eat. So, there's arms and legs and various degrees of being consumed. There's one torso that's been completely consumed. There's one that they were sort of consuming. You see a sack over in the corner that looks bloody, but is unopened. And you see a large rib cage in one corner of the cave. Like a bit larger than like a giant hyena or a horse, just the rib cage there.
I want to go over before I collect whatever little pieces of the body so I can get back for remains for burial and stuff. I would like to look at the bloody sack.
Sure. You cut open this bloody sack and give me a wisdom save real quick.
Oh no. Oh my goodness. Okay. That's a 15. 14 plus
15.
1.
Okay.
I don't know what is the 15 today. God damn.
Truly. You cut open the sack and you look in and you're briefly taken aback, but you like focus up. This sack is full of long rotted, but numerous heads of elves, it looks like. You can tell by the rotting, torn, pointed ears on all of these heads.
Okay. Alexandra is going to mentally note that and is going to put it back and then try to collect whatever pieces of the remaining body that
Sure.
was from those two to try
Are you trying to grab like limbs or more like personal item possessions that you might be able to scavenge?
They're personal item possessions scattered.
Yeah, for sure. You find like a quiver of one of the arrows. There's a snapped bow of another one you find. Yeah, you grab some belongings. And while you're in there, Akem approaches Electra and Piri and says, that was not bad work with the ogre. Your strength precedes you, especially you, Piri.
Yeah, thanks.
The elf you arrived with, she's someone you trust and know well. It sounds from the way she speaks and the things people have seen her do that she might be a dangerous person to have around. Maybe unsavory as well on top of that.
Electra is gonna like turn her gaze towards the cave, and just kind of like be quiet for a second, and then like without making eye contact and like still looking at the gaze, like looking at the cave, just be like, she has a good heart, and she cares about people a lot. And once she's on your side, she's on your side.
You speak
and I
with
really
a lot of,
want her
confidence.
here.
And how long have you known this person?
Long enough to know that she has my back.
I see. Well, in light of this, I think it would be good for myself and Jose to perhaps apologize to her for the way we acted. Jose, let's go apologize to the elf.
I will tell you right now, she is sassy, so she might give you sass when you try to apologize, but the sentiment is very nice.
Probably appreciate it inside.
Good to know. Good to know. We will keep that in mind. Come on, Jose, let's go. Jose and Akem go walk into the cave. They just light still active on
Oh, I doubt it.
Okay.
They
light a torch. They light a torch.
I would have cast it again. I could have cast it again. Like it's a cantrip. I could have just. There you go.
Thank you. Again, this will not get old. I mean, we don't. I mean, you know, our speakers do have magic, but I mean, they don't usually freely do it in front of us.
Anytime you want. I got some really good ones.
Oh, have to keep you around. You are very useful. You saw you heal. That is very good.
It's kind of my specialty.
Okay. Give me a persuasion check.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, 9.
9? Okay, there you go. Oh, it's so good specialty. It's good. It help people. Help people is good. You'd be good. You'd be good speaker.
Like,
You'd be good speaker.
oh, thank you.
You know, just so you know, like Jose and myself, we're sort of. We weren't always suits chosen. There are people who leave their lives behind in Luhar to start over again in the desert for various reasons. It was a bad place for us in Luhar. We needed to leave. So we've heard the call of Sut and thought we'd start over out here. So just keep in mind that all we did was the way we are is with the motive of protecting our people, because this is our new family, people that accepted us. So
I think Alexandria feels the same way about people. She can be very protective.
Okay.
She's like a big sister.
Kosei and Akem walk into the cave. Alexandria, as you're picking up belongings, you see a light round the corner, and you see Akem with a glowing cudgel in his hand, and Kosei at his side. And give me a charisma check at disadvantage. Just a flat charisma.
What color is the light on the cudgel?
What color is the light on the cudgel?
Make it any color.
Electra?
What color is the light?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't really. It's definitely like really yellow and gold.
Okay. What was that roll, Alexandria?
Was it disadvantage?
Yes. Just
then that's a solid 8.
8, cool. Kosei and Akem walk into the cave, and they are sort of, you're deep in the cave. They sort of stand in the entryway. They make eye contact with you, and Akem says, I see you have found some of the belongings of our people.
Yeah, I wanted to do a sweep through to make sure there was no surprises left, and I thought that you guys might.
Good. Yes, it would be good to have something to take back to bury the only, glimpse of light at the end of this dark tunnel, yes? Right. Say and myself have come to apologize. Give me a perception check real quick.
That is only a 6 + 3 is 9.
Okay.
8 and 9. That's kind of fun.
Akem says, we have come to apologize because we are sorry you will not be coming back with us. And they both draw their weapons.
What?
Roll initiative.
My God! Oh, thank goodness. Okay, that's okay, it's fine. Okay, that's 18 + 1, that is a solid 19. Did I get that last time? If I did, that's really fun. Okay, this is fine. Everything's fine.
Okay. You got an 18, you said?
I got a 19. 18 +
19.
1.
Okay.
Oh my God. I'm sweating.
You see... Nice. Akem barrels towards you with the cudgel, and takes a swing.
Oh!
That hits. Takes another swing. What's your AC?
12.
That also hits.
God damn, here we go. Alright, what's the damage?
The damage...
Oh crap. 5?
10 bludgeoning damage.
Oh, live, laugh, love.
It
okay.
is your turn, Alexandria.
Oh. Alexandria. I would like to dash. I would like to run.
Okay.
I don't know like where we are, like how I would like if it's possible, or if needed, if I need to like spider crawl. I just do not want to engage. Like I do not want to hit them yet. Like I just want to try to get out.
Cool. You could certainly try to. You're close to a wall where you could scamper up to the ceiling, and then get out of melee range and try to scamper out. You'll need to give me a athletics check. Well, no, you can spider climb, so you don't need to.
Yeah.
You can just scamper up there on the roof.
Yeah.
You will take an opportunity attack from Akem as you try to scamper away, though.
Okay,
unless you disengage. But then again, you'll only be able to make it 30 feet.
I would like to...
For a row, you could do that as a bonus action, right?
What? Do what as a bonus action?
I don't know what... I think that's a higher level.
Yeah.
Do you have the bonus action disengage yet?
No.
Okay.
Check.
But it was lower.
Dang it!
You could disengage and then use your movement to climb.
Could I do that?
Yeah.
I would like to climb and I would say, hey, why all the, what is going on here? That really, really hurt.
Akem looks up at you and smiles. A lot of big talk, and a lot of whining after a single strike. Why don't you come down after let's finish this?
I don't want to hurt you. We don't need to fight.
It seems like we have the pup cornered. The other person is going to take a shot with their crossbow.
Yep.
Oh no.
How much HP are you at, by the way?
7.
7. Okay. Give me just a luck check real quick, just a d20.
A 13.
Okay. You see he lines up his crossbow, fires the bolt, and everything goes dark. You blink a few times and the cave comes back into view. The bolt is next to you in the cave wall. You see standing behind Akem and this other person is a figure standing tall, like thin, muscly flesh, dripping with just darkness, with a skull and a horn that sort of just comes from the skull and curves forward, and a wicked edge stands behind them, looks up at you and says, I told you a time would come when you need to be strong. No. You see Akem and they'll turn around and see his figure, and they both scream and stumble back at her. What are you? What are you?
Do we hear the scream?
Give me a perception check.
Okay. Because I definitely wouldn't have noticed anything else, but maybe a scream.
Can Alexandria move down?
Not sure.
22.
Yeah, you hear screams of terror come from inside the cave. Here, are you rolling perception for me?
13.
13. You don't hear the screams, but you do clock that Electra has reacted in a certain way.
She's probably gonna make her way over there and get there as soon as she can, whenever that is, DM. But she's definitely, molting.
Yeah. The other blades outside don't hear the shouts come from inside. You see this figure again. They just, as if darkness was a liquid, just dripping off of this gaunt, towering figure.
Don't hurt them. Can Alexander
He holds
move
up
down?
a finger at you. And you see like a pool of darkness appears under Akem. And this figure turns a hand up, and a spear of darkness just shoots up out of the ground, pierces through Akem, then drops back down, and Akem drops.
No!
The other...
Cidra's screaming! Even if it doesn't do anything.
The other hunter begins, or blade, keeps flaying. He's gonna try to get away here with, well, he can't actually disengage because he uses action to shoot, so he's gonna take an opportunity attack. Okay, that is a... Ooh, that hits. You see he tears off the figure with just a deep chuckle, reaches out one hand and just grabs through the blade's chest, lifts him up off the ground like a doll, looks at him, grabs him with the other side, pulls him off, and holding his still beating heart, looks at it, looks up at you, smiles. This is what it's like to be strong. Being strong isn't getting cornered in a cave by two brutes with sticks. You know, I think this is the last time I'm gonna do something like this for you, but I'm gonna need you to start doing things for me. Your lack of speech would confer that we are in agreement. He tosses you this heart. Do you catch it or you let it drop?
I'll catch it.
You catch it. He looks at you, says,
Wait.
Yeah?
Hold on. I'm just writing something down.
Okay. And if you are wondering, it would be back to you in initiative at this point.
Okay. Thanks, Heart. Why did you do that? Were they not your followers?
Oh. Right. I did tell you that, didn't I? Yeah. Maybe once. No, those two. It's possible I talked to them at one point. But not in the way I've talked to you. Much less direct.
Why do you choose to talk directly to me?
Oh, you're much different than these people. They live in a cave in the desert. You're from somewhere else, and that is valuable.
And who are you again? Not in like a but like a genuinely like I would like
Sorry, I can't give you a name. But just know that in the shadows, in the dark, that's typically where I am. I won't lie to you, I'm not everywhere. But I'm certainly not nowhere either. So, in return for this little favor, I think next time I call on you to do something, it would be in your interest to oblige me. It's come to my attention that one of your companions, is it, has come into possession of a certain diadem. Stick close to that diadem. It's a bit of a key to a lot of things we're interested in.
collect those rubies for sure. And maybe when you finish with that, we'll consider this little debt paid. So, I'll see you in the dark, I suppose. And this figure begins stepping away into the shadows.
Do I get there?
You do run in. Alexandria, it is still your initiative if there's anything you'd like to do.
Drop the heart.
Okay, you drop the heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Electra, give me a perception check as you run into the room.
17. Oh, sorry, 16. I forgot to take one off.
Okay. You run into the room. You see a Dedicam on the floor with a glowing cudgel in his hand. You see another blade dead a few feet away with his heart burst out of his chest. You see Alexandria clinging to the wall with a bloody hand and a heart at the ground below her. What you don't see is a shadowy figure slinking into the darkness and disappearing.
Okay. She's gonna run in, and when she kind of sees this scene, she's almost gonna come like full stop and catch her breath and just like look like dead blade, Alexandria, blood on her hand, heart on the ground. But then, do I also see that she's hurt?
Give me a perception check. And Puri, you can give me one too if you're...
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
5.
Puri, you see what looks like Alexandria just straight up murdered 2 people. Who just moments ago were like, we're so dumb, we're gonna go apologize to her. Electra, you do catch that she's breathing up there. She does appear to be wincing a bit as she takes in breath. And you do clock something else, though, is that Akem appears to have died from a puncture wound that wouldn't match any of Alexandria's weapons. It doesn't discount the fact, though, that she's the only one in the room, but you do clock that.
I'm trying to think what Electra would do. So...
What's Alexandria doing? Your friends just wandered into the room.
Alexandria is gonna come down from the wall, probably fall on her knees, and just start sobbing.
And these guys look like dead, like there's nothing that Electra can do.
No. Can Alexandria cry over one of their bodies? Whatever one with the heart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she doing that as like a, I am upset about what is happening here, but I need to look more upset so this doesn't look like I just killed these people?
No, it's like genuine. Like, I think she's just so confused and frustrated because like these were bad guys, but like they didn't deserve to die like that. And like that confusion and like why did you have to like do this? Like almost angry at them for like pushing this forward, but then at herself for not stopping it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like just like this like breakdown vibe.
Yeah.
That's what you would see Alexandria.
Actually, Electra, give me a medicine check while you're here.
Nat 20 for 21.
Nat 20. So the guy with his heart burst out of his chest is full dead. Akem, however, his heart's not beating, but he's only just died like mere moments ago. He doesn't seem he's lost.
Okay, I'm going to try Cure Wounds on a chem.
Okay.
And if it's a wasted spell slot, it's a wasted spell slot.
Oh my god,
but I'm
sweating.
She's gonna, like, pick up her falchion, and, like, you can see, like, as she's holding it, this, like, almost sword in her hand, and, like, her hands start to glow, like, gold inside, and she just kind of, like, prays, like, God, honor, like, please do not let this be a lost life today. He's a great warrior. All these, like, she's kind of like saying all these things that she really would say if she was trying to save someone. And she's just gonna kind of like press like the gold light like onto his chest and hope that it kind of like spreads with him.
You take this gold light and you press it down onto a chem, and your magic, it looks kind of different. In the past, it was like a warm glow. Now you put your hands onto a chem over this spear wound, and flames begin licking out from under your hands as if it's searing and cauterizing and closing the wound, and the smell of like burning flesh, acrid, goes into your nose. You know you're casting the right spell, but it's just taking this weird form. And you pull your hands back, and you see the wounds of close up. It just looks like sort of like a burn mark now. And Akem's eyes blink open.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Akem!
However, he's sort of just looking around frantically right now, like hyperventilating, sort of like babbling a little bit. Doesn't really.
Can Alexandria like move towards these two?
Yeah.
What is if he sees her face? What's his
Perry
reaction?
here?
Yeah,
Perry's there.
Yeah.
Perry. Electra's gonna like sort of like while Alexandria like comes, she's gonna look up and say like, Perry, can you carry the body outside? And she's kind of like talking about the one who's like dead.
Heartless body?
Yeah. Can you carry it out so we can take it home for the family?
Yeah.
You don't have to.
No, I can. Just,
It's just like a hyena, but different.
It's a bit different in that it's lighter. But it's missing a heart.
Rip. Yeah. Alexandria, let's get Akem out of here.
Okay, but how are you gonna explain?
I got this.
You got.
We'll figure it out.
Alexander, real quick, give me a wisdom save.
Ooh. 1+1. That's only a 14? Yeah.
Okay. This conversation is going on. You look over to the dead blade as it's being discussed to carry him out, and the thought crosses your mind. It'd be a waste if you didn't drink any of that blood, because it's not going to be used by him anymore.
My God.
But you're not compelled. Just the thought crosses your mind.
Alexandria's gonna try to dismiss this thought, and I want to get closer to the one that's still alive.
Yeah, can we like lift Akem and like have him lean
before
on
we
each
do
of
that,
our-
I want to see his reaction. What does he react? Because he's like blind, you know, like when he sees Alexandria.
He looks terrified. In part at you, but not he doesn't. He knows you did not kill him. He saw what that thing was, and he probably did not hear any words that were exchanged between you two. But like he was kind of like almost dead like a few seconds ago by some weird monster in the dark. He doesn't know what to think right now.
Alexandra's gonna go like, I'm sorry, like just like, and then just gonna look out of here at Electra to be like, yeah, like
let's get him out of here, let's go, and we'll help him up and kind of like, you know, when you like have someone in the middle who's hurt and they like put their arms over, and I'm gonna get Alexandria to help me get Akem out, and then have Piri carry, I forget
yeah, Perry is carrying the body.
I forget what his name is.
Out. Yeah, that was Jose. Yeah. You step out of the cave. The other blades look justifiably aghast that Jose is dead, and that Akem is gravely injured. And immediately they're like, what happened in that cave?
There's something in there. She didn't see anything. She's making this up.
What is in there?
I don't know.
How did you get out of that cave if there was something in there killing?
Listen, I heard the screams, ran in, and we just ripped him out of there as fast as we could go. Look, even Alexandria's hurt.
Alexandria is just like looking, like holding it up, and I imagine, like, you know, Alexandria's pale, but this is like pale, mad. Like just staring at the ground.
Gotcha. The two blades outside run into the cave past you to go look around.
Can she try to stop them?
Sure.
Because like she would not want someone to get hurt.
Yeah, you can certainly try and stop them.
Stop! Like, I swear this, like, you don't, it's not worth it. We need to get these back. Look, Akem is losing it.
Give me a persuasion check.
Okay. Oh no. It's a dirty 20.
They stop at the mouth of the cave. You see their grip tightens on their weapons, then relaxes a bit. They sheath them. Then they go, we should get back to the siege.
We need to warn people in case this thing causes problems.
What was it?
It
was
was
meeting with the ogres?
I worry it was. I worry it was like a pet of theirs.
How did you...
I didn't see it very well.
What and looks to Piri. What did it look like?
I didn't see it.
Give me a deception check. I mean, not on that, on Electra's thing, not Piri. Piri, you can just give me a persuasion check.
You want me to give deception?
Yeah, just on, because you're spinning a story.
Yeah.
And then I'll give a persuasion check.
Or you can just give Electra a help action.
I'll do that.
Okay.
19.
Nice. They go, okay. We believe you. We believe you. Okay. Let's head back.
She'll pass the Akem off to the other blades, and she wants to help Alexandria now and just kind of like put her arm around Alexandria. How tall is Alexandria?
Like 5'9".
Okay, so Electra's just a little taller than you. And she's just gonna kind of like put her arm around you as like support and just like hold you and walk with you. And then she's gonna say really quietly, "We have to talk."
Alexandra doesn't say anything, she just nods.
And they'll walk.
As you have the conversation, and the other blades are holding Akem clicks his tongue and then tries to beckon Alexandria over.
Okay, she goes. Yeah.
He brushes the other blades back, says, give me space for a moment. He leans in next to you, and he whispers,
Oh god.
I don't know what I saw in that cave. I am not entirely sure if you had anything to do with that, but judging by the fact I am still alive, and that is due to your friends, what say you that whatever happened in that cave is just as your friend said it? There was a monster, and it hurt us. It killed Kose. That's all that happened.
That's all that happened.
He nods, and he lets the other blades get under his arms, and you all begin hobbling off back to the siege. And that is where we'll end our session for today.